Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Welcome along to the third round of the season here in TTL F1. And that, of course, brings us to the Spanish Grand Prix, the first TTL F1 race of the new decade. My name is Kieran McGinley. I'm back, and joining me in the commentary box, as always now, is the lovely Mr. James Head. James, how are you tonight?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kieran. I'm doing very well. I can't wait for the action to begin out on track. And I'll correct you, this is the second race of the new decade, because we obviously had China last week.
It's my first one of the decade. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah,
is that what you meant? Sorry,
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. I totally meant that.
I'm going mad at my old age. Trust us.
I could be going mad making mistakes. We're both going mad. Let's split the difference.
Exactly.
Welcome back. Welcome back to me and my brand new microphone. Hopefully I sound a little bit clearer. Although I can't do anything really about the PS4. It's still over there being noisy. So, what are you going to do? James, I wonder if you could just give us a quick recap of what happened last time out.
Yeah, so last time out in China, of course, it was Navy who took pole position, and then he obviously went on to win the race as well. Some very good performances last week as well. Carl Street on his debut, hopefully he's back tonight, which I think he is. He finished second in the Alfa Romeo on his debut and has joined third in the standings as well. And third place for Recon, who obviously took it in Australia last time out. And notable performances as well. Westy, Dill Warren deserve a shout out for their performances, finishing 4th and 6th respectively, and King J as well, just to get in there as well. Do you have the updated standings, or shall I run through them?
I think I have them right here. So, of course, we have Recon on the top of the standings with 41 points. Navy is in second with 25. Carl is in third on 18. Tied with him is Lyronics, also on 18. They're tied for third place. Lighty joined in fifth with Warren there, both on 16 points. In seventh place, it's Troy with 15 points. Westy is in 8th on 13. Sean in 9th on 12. King J in 10th place with 10 points. Spike then in 11th on 8 points. Mashiro in 12th with 6 points. Mays in 13th with 4 points. Jeffrey in 14th with the 1 point. And joint 15th, no points for them yet. The Gore, Charlie, regular George, Conti, Graham and George. Looking at the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari on top of the table with 45 points. Alfa Romeo in second on 30. Haas in third on 26. McLaren in 4th on 25. Red Bull 5th on 18. Racing Point in 6th on 16 points. Renault in 7th on 15. Mercedes in 8th on 14 points. Toro Rosso in 9th on 8 points. And Williams at the bottom of the table on 6 points. And of course, we're here at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's one of those tracks, James, that has a long straight down towards turn 1, a longish straight down towards turn 10, and then everything in between relies solely on the aero and trying to get the car through the corners as quickly as possible. Long straights, mid-speed corners, it's a real challenge to get the setup right.
Yeah, it is a real challenge to get the setup right, as Kieran has just said there. It is a great chance, though, I think, to really evaluate the balance of the car. If the drivers have got the good setup on, like we expect them to, it should be quite fascinating to see who goes top in qualifying. There are a lot of contenders, I think, to possibly take this pole position in qualifying here in Spain. It's going to be fascinating, and just to point out as well, this track was actually built as part of the 1992 Barcelona Olympics development programme. That was before my time.
It was before my time as well, so let us know if you were there for it. One thing I have to say though, James, is that this track has gone relatively unchanged apart from the final sector. A lot of controversy was caused when the new chicane was built. It seemed like only yesterday that chicane was built, of how many people still go and languish back to the old days of the final two right-handers, but now to bring the chicane in, it's almost part and parcel of the track now.
Yeah, it is part and parcel of the track. Obviously, the MotoGP guys use the other track without the chicane. Obviously, we're going to be using the chicane here tonight. And that is the chicane rack that Kieran is talking about. Turns 14 and 15 out on the track. You can pick up an invalidation there. So, the drivers have got to be careful that they don't pick up any invalidations, don't pick up any penalties. Hopefully keep it all clean. And what an attendance, by the way, we have tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this, and hopefully we'll get some great racing on the board. Of course, some people will say that Spain's not really a great track for racing. I disagree. It's a perfectly balanced track that really you have to prioritise that setup. If you don't have the setup perfectly spot on, you're going to have a risk of being absolutely nowhere. That's the main thing. Are we starting to count down into the lobby? I think so. I think some drivers are struggling to stay in the lobby because we were up at 20, then we were down to 18 and 17. So hopefully everything's all right, everything comes together, and we're going to have a great race. But first, we've got 18 minutes of qualifying coming up.
Yeah, Recon was just dropping out there. He's back in, he's in his Ferrari, everyone now readying up. It should be quite fascinating. As I say, I think there's going to be quite a few contenders for pole position. Remember Dill Warren, way back in the last year, in 2019, taking that pole position with a 19.3 in Australia. Watch out for him tonight. I've had a look at some of the time trial times. It could be quite close between quite a few drivers. Dill Warren, Navy, Conti, I would throw in there maybe as well. T-Raw, Recon, it's going to be fascinating.
I think it's going to be more than fascinating. I think it's going to be a great chance to show what these guys are made of, and obviously to be leading the championship this early on is great, but you've got to be able to hold on to that lead. There's still a long way to go for Ferrari on 45 points, 15 points ahead of Alfa Romeo, but of course Recon on 41 points, so he scored 41 out of the 45 points scored by Ferrari so far this season. He's got quite a bit of a gap here to Navy, the car behind him. Just how much of an advantage could that be? How much of an advantage to the mentality you bring to this Grand Prix could that be for the Ferrari driver?
If he's got the right mentality, which I have no doubt that he probably will, he should be able to maybe even extend his championship lead here tonight. But it's only a 16-point gap. We're only at round 3. There's still a long way to go in the season, and this track will really determine what is going to happen out on track. I was just a bit busy having a look at the 1 out of 33 that came up on my screen. I thought we were going straight into the rest there. But yeah, this track will really tell the difference between who will be consistent this season and who may not necessarily... I'm trying to get the words out. I can't think.
They'll get there eventually, James. Don't worry. Keep trying.
They'll get there eventually. I'm just trying to reword it. It's difficult. It will really tell who is consistent and who isn't consistent. This track will really tell that tonight.
Absolutely. And we've got Recon, who I believe will be the first car out there. Yep, there goes a Red Bull out of the pit lane. I believe there's only one Red Bull here tonight. That is Conti.
Spike.
Was it Spike? I thought he was in a Toro Rosso.
It's Conti, sorry. It's Conti. My eyes are deceiving.
Yeah, I did think it was Conti. Riding aboard now with Recon as we make our way through turn 2, onwards now towards that long right-hander of turn 3, which you can pretty much take flat out there. Even on the hardest tyres that Pirelli have brought for this race, you can still go flat out through there, albeit with that really light fuel load, as Recon now makes his way down towards that tricky turn 5. Very easy to lock up the front brake there. We now head into the slight left-hander of turn 6 before the braking zone of turn 7. Then you have to flick it through turn 8 here. Very easy to get this one wrong. Through the long right-hander of turn 9. Drop a gear if you need to. And the Recon sees no need to as he now flies into the DRS zone. Down now towards turn 10 we go, waiting for that braking point just before the 100-metre borders. Dylan Warren has left the session, and James was talking to me about his connection issues last time out, which cost him a potentially decent result. Let's hope he can get that fixed as Recon now makes his way through the final couple of corners in towards that chicane. Now back right off to try and get himself warmed up for this lap as he makes his way around the final corner and onwards towards the start-finish line to now start his flying lap. Let's ride on board with the championship leader then in full glorious view. I haven't done this for a long time. It is great to be back, heading down towards turn 1, braking just after the 100-metre board, now trying to flick the car through, be as smooth as possible through these corners. You saw that little lift on the entrance into turn 3 there, just to keep the car in check and to make sure it has the grip through the corner through turn 4. Almost trail braking into turn 4 there. It's a long way towards the exit as you head now towards turn 5. Downhill. Watch the braking here. Very easy to lock up the front brake. Watch it on the exit there. Very easy to overcommit onto that curve through that slight kink of turn 6. And now in towards turn 7 and 8. The undulation through this section is unreal. You've got to be very careful. Now going towards turn 9 as you head over the crest. DRS wide open for a short break now as we head down towards turn 10. Braking just before that 100-meter board. Trying to guide the car through. Very patient through the slowest part of the track through turn 11. Watch out for these curves through 11 and 12. They can very easily unsettle the car. You can go straight for a spin. Through turn 13 we go. Watch the sleeping policeman on the inside. Now through 14 and 15. Again, the sleeping policeman can be attacked on the exit of 15. Then through the final corner at turn 16 and onwards towards that start-finish line. Recon in the Ferrari will set a 1:18.9 as the first lap time of this qualifying session.
Yeah, not too bad at all. I'm just on board with Charlie. He's had a bit of a moment at the start of Sector 2. Just catching on board with that. He was on a medium compound of tyres, obviously not going to be setting a time there. Sean and Conti going second and third currently, 20.6 and 21.4 out on track. Difference in the strategy is quite intriguing though. Top 3 currently on the hards. We've got Charlie on the mediums, who's the only one out on a set of mediums out on track, I do believe, providing that the tyre graphic isn't wrong. And the rest, Kiki, King J, Carlsbury, Mays, Gort, Westy and T-Roll, all on a set of softs. It's quite intriguing, pretty much halfway down the split between softs and hards at this stage.
Yeah, Carlsbury has got obviously second place in the standings. Second place last time out, so it's a really good debut from him last time as he makes his way now onto his flying, or a second flying lap. He's already put one lap on the board on those hard tyres. Lighty there, 1:20.5 on a set of soft tyres. I don't think that was his best lap time, not by a long shot. Not that we're used to, James. He can do better than that.
Yeah, he can do better than that. It's probably just a banker lap from him, 20.5. Spike just going clean by about 4 tenths per second there. I was just watching on board with King J there, the Belgian. Currently in 10th, hasn't set a lap yet. He came across the line. I'm not sure if he invalidated anywhere out on track, but it was a 17.7 on a set of softs. I have a feeling it was invalidated, but if that's his pace, then obviously he's going to be maybe the one to beat.
Yeah, and of course the thing is, when you come to this strategy part of the race, as King J gets a mountain of oversteer there through turn 7. When you get to the start of this race, as he gets another tank slapper out of turn 10 there, turn 9. I wonder if he's going to make another mistake now as I try and speak. I'm going to wait it out a little bit.
Yeah,
no, okay. Wait out a little bit.
Carlsbury just going second, 19.7, so he's just gone second there.
Now riding on board with King J once again as he makes his way through 13, through 14 and 15. Again, nice and smooth through that final chicane as he now comes back into the pit lane. So baited me, that's for sure, with that one as he makes his way now back to the pit lane. I've lost my cursor between the side each driver, but I found it now. Mashiro here heading through turn 12. Onwards he'll go towards turn 13. A Japanese driver looking to get aboard on the lap time, James. That's there you go.
A couple of corners from him. Yeah, he's on a good lap here. He could go third, I think, with this. Mashiro across the line. Yeah, I think he might. Oh, he's just shy. He's fifth with 1:20.2, and he's only 1600th off Sean. That isn't a bad lap at all.
Not a bad lap whatsoever. So good lap time from him in the Williams. Of course, Williams are at the bottom of the constructor standings right now with 6 points. So that'll be a welcome sight to see Mashiro putting it onto the third row of the grid. Meanwhile, we've got drivers yet to set a lap time. Charlie, Kiki, King J, Mays, Navy, Gort and Warren. Although Warren has been having his disconnection troubles, so hopefully we'll get to see him back. But he has said in the chat there that well, it's not looking great, in all honesty. Let's see here. We've got the Renault, the lone Renault today of Draw then, making his way through 7 and 8. Currently 6th place on a 1:20.3 on those hard tyres. I'll tell you what, actually, between, what's that, third and 9th, not too much in between that. That's as Troy almost goes into the back of Mashiro there. And Troy, I believe, was on a flying lap. But there you go. Yeah, Mashiro's gone as an AI. So
yeah, Machine was an AI. T-Roll was 3/10 up until that point to the middle sector.
So he will not be, well, he'll not be too happy with the Williams there. But, will he come back into bits? No, he stays out. So maybe he's looking for a little bit of toe now down towards the start-finish line. He's weaving left and right now. Yeah, he's definitely not impressed.
I would exactly do the same thing as T-Roll at the minute. I would just be thinking, what the hell have you just done?
But he'll have to go again. The only thing is now is that he's pretty much compromised this lap time too, because he's weaving down the start-finish straight. So another lap time gone for the German there. Let's have a look at Key then, as he makes his way now through turn 13, onwards towards 14 and 15. Let's know in the chat who you're supporting tonight. And here we see Key now going around the final corner, onwards towards that start-finish line. So 1:19.8 from Key. So that puts him into third place.
Just pointed out, Carlsbury is only a 100th off Recon. He's improved on his third lap on a set of hards. He's gone he's still second, but he's only 100th off Recon. I've just noticed that there.
And that's on 4-lap-old hard tyres. So that's pretty impressive from the Alfa Romeo driver. Let's see what his pace is like on the softer tyres. Let's see if we've got drivers out there. We've got King J, who's still out there, making his way through turn 3. Running a little bit wide out of turn 3 there, but able to keep the car under control. That's the main thing, heading in towards turn 4. We've also got the Gort out there, also in the Williams, making his way now through turn 13. Onwards he'll go towards 14 and 15, keeping it nice and smooth through the chicane. Onwards now towards that final corner on these soft tyres. Let's see what he can do here, heading towards that start finish line, and he'll grab provisional pole position 1:18.5, but expect that lap time, James, to come down as the session goes on.
Yeah, 18.5 from Gort, really setting the tempo, I think, for the first half of qualifying. Second half of qualifying has just begun. Gort, Recon, Carlsbury are current top 3. But you should see everyone start to begin to switch to a set of mediums or to a set of soft compound of tyres, especially those on a set of hards. But anyone that is wanting to try one stop, I think they've got to go hards, 2 mediums, and pit around the halfway stage, because the tyre wear around here on the softs is pretty much 4-5% per lap, and it's not the greatest scenario to be in because it'll go within 5 laps.
Warren in the chat there lamenting his chances here. He says he could have pole position, but he just can't join the session. So it's really bad stuff there for Warren. Hopefully he will be able to join.
I can't invite him. Westy, I'm on board with. He's a second up in the middle. He's a second and a half up in the middle sector.
So,
on a set of hards.
So far so good then. He'll make his way through the chicane. Around turn 12 he'll go. Obviously looking to try and prioritise the exit out of turn 12 rather than the entrance into turn 13 we go. And then onwards towards the chicane, 14 and 15, revving the engine as high as he can. Now going through the final corner. Let's see what this can get him as he heads towards the start-finish line. It's a 1:18.7 on a set of hard tyres for Westy. And as the track improves, these times are just going to come tumbling down.
Yeah, 18.7 from Westy. He is not a part of One Up Racing for anything. I've got to be honest. He's one of those shining lights, I think, in TTL F1. Could easily, if he stays consistent, obviously he had a good result last time out in China. If he stays consistent, carries that on to tonight, I could actually see him winning this.
Well, there's your early prediction there from Mr. James Head himself. You don't get many predictions right, James, but you're hedging your bets on this one.
Yeah, I am hedging my bets on this one. King J has just gone 5th as well with a 1:19.797, about a hundredth of a second ahead of Kiki. He's in 5th, about 8/10 off Carlsbury at this stage, but good lap nonetheless. Oh, Mays has just gone 5th actually. Yeah,
Mays in the Ferrari up to 5th place, 1:19.1 there from the Ferrari driver on the soft tyres. I don't know, I'd be a little bit worried about that pace on the soft tyres. He's got drivers around him that are on the mediums and the hards, so maybe he's got to try and just find the perfect set of softs, James.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. Looking at the 3 guys ahead of him, Westy, Recon, Carlsbury, if they switch immediately to a set of softs, I could see them all within the 17s straight off the bat. Mays at 19.1 on a set of softs. Is that his limit on those tyres? remains to be seen. I don't think it is. I think he can still eke out a couple of tenths or so out on track. But the cloud cover beginning to increase. It's not going to serve the softs well for the remainder of this qualifying session.
No, there is a risk of graining now on those soft tyres, but there is Charlie there, who looks like he's just trying to set a lap time here. Currently his fastest is a 1:20.7 as he now makes his way towards turn 13. Onwards now towards the chicane. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do. Nice and smooth through there. Maybe missing the apex just a touch there. Through the final corner he'll go, and onwards towards the start finish line. Can he improve? Yes, he can. Up to P12 he goes with a 1:20.3. That's still on the hard tyres, so he's still got some pace about him.
Yeah, fresh set of soft compound tyres as well there for Charlie. He's gone 12th, just behind T-Raw. Put that back, and as I was saying, Dill Warren is rejoining the session, which hopefully, fingers crossed and touch wood, he will remain in the session for the rest of the night.
Fingers crossed, legs crossed, everything crossed. Cross everything. We want him in the session. No doubt he'll want to be in the session. He's backing himself to try and get pole position here, and he's not got many chances to do it now. He's only got about 4 minutes to do it. But running on board with Key there, who I think instantly corner cutted at turn 1 and has had to abandon that lap time there in P7, so he'll have to go again.
Spike's just ahead of him out on track.
Let's ride on board with Spike then. He's currently on the hards, currently 9th place with a 1:20.1. Remember, he is on the wheel, a very prolific driver on the controller, but now he's shifted to the wheel for a brand new season, and Mays has called it a day then here in qualifying. He's currently in 5th place, will qualify no higher, so it'll be interesting to see what the response is from drivers behind him, including King J, Kiki, Mashiro, Spike, Sean. You know, they're all drivers that are capable, that have the pace, as well as Troy. Never rule out Troy. I always say that in every TTL F1 race I take part in. But here is Spike then. Through the chicane we go, through 13 and 14. Onwards now towards the final corner. And what is this lap time going to be? Let's see as he makes his way towards that start finish line. So 1:19.6 from Spike on a set of the hard tyres. Now he's got to get a move on to get back to that pit lane though, as he hasn't got long left.
Yeah, remember the qualifying does have that 30-second buffer as well that I've noticed. We've got 3.5 minutes remaining and not 3 minutes remaining. That's what I'm trying to say there.
Oh right. Are you sure?
Yeah, they still haven't fixed the 30-second glitch in qualifying. It's terrible. It's been like this since the game actually came out.
I don't know about that actually. No, no.
I've seen it multiple times before, and trust me on that.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see. Ooh. Let's see if that's right then. Let's see if our stopwatches are right. But Spike then making his way through the final quarter. What are you spotting, James?
Dill Warren on a set of mediums just went very wide on the exit of turn 4, coming into turn 5. He's on a set of mediums though. We should see him right up there with this, if he can keep it clean.
Let's see now.
Moment onto the grass.
Through the right-hander of turn 9, DRS wide open as we head our way now down towards turn 10, braking just before that 100-metre board to the slowest part of the track. Very easy on the throttle there as he's backed out of it. Yeah, backed out of it. So one more chance really for Warren, you would think, to try and get himself up the order. Otherwise he'll be starting 18th.
T-Raw has just had a massive moment out of turn 11, that was, I think. Yeah, it's coming through turn 11 and 12. Just got caught on the bump even before coming into the apex of the corner through turn 11. He was a second up before that. That was unlucky. He just caught the bump at the wrong time.
Yeah, I've been across that bump many a time. I've been across that curb many a time, and the car just refuses to grip. So I know that frustration well. But let's see if Troy comes around the final corner. He will get to start another lap, albeit with slightly used tyres there, as we head towards the final minute of the session then. So the Gort currently on top of the session. He is currently on a lap right now. And
he's going to be beaten here. Carlsbury.
Let's have a look then. Through the final corner we go. Running aboard with the front wing and onwards towards that start finish line. Let's see what this lap time is like. So 1:18.0 from Carlsbury as he now gets provisional pole position. But Westy here, never rule out Westy. He's currently on a set of the medium tyres. Let's see how this goes for Westy. Recon as well, heading down towards turn 1 as everyone's now out onto the track looking to put their best lap times on the board. They're waiting as late as they possibly can to get out onto the track. Of course, that means in theory the track is the best it possibly can be. Key then making his way around the final corner as Dylan Warren goes top of the table, 117.9, and calls it a day straight away in qualifying. To be honest with you, he already had one run on the mediums, backed out of it, then had a second run on those tyres as Carlsbury also retires from the session. The Gort then making his way around the final couple of corners, but now he dives into the pit lane. Westy with the DRS wide open, making his way now down towards turn 10. Here's Recon making his way now through turn 12. Currently 6th place. Light T puts it up to 3rd place in the Haas. 118.3 from the German driver. Now the Gort retires. He was in the pit lane. Recon now making his way through the chicane and onwards towards the final corner. Navy now putting it up to 3rd place. Here's Recon then making his way towards the start-finish line. Can he try and grab it? No, second. 117.965. How about Westy this time around? No, it's P5 for the Mercedes there. 5th place for Westy. Meanwhile, we've still got Sean out there on a lap, a 10th up on his personal best so far. We've got King J making his way through 13. He'll make his way towards 14 and 15 now. Mashiro also on a flying lap. Just a handful of drivers left to complete qualifying. King J making his way through the final corner towards that start-finish line. Let's see what the lap time's going to be. It's P8 for the Haas driver. Good lap time from him. How about Mashiro making his way around the final corner and onwards towards the start-finish line, but he does run out of fuel. So Mashiro out of fuel as he made his way towards the line, and that did cost him because he was 6/10 up. But Dylan Warren in the Racing Point grabs pole position. So let's have a look at the qualifying results, and there it is. Dylan Warren by 0.013 seconds grabs pole position here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Recon then finishes in 2nd place, Carlsbury in 3rd, with Navy 4th, Westy in 5th, Lighty 6th, the Gort in 7th, King J in 8th, Sean 9th, and Mays rounds out the top 10. Key in 11th, Conti 12th, Spike in 13th, Mashiro 14th, Traw 15th, Charlie 16th, Jeffrey 17th, and George there is in 18th place. Well, a very interesting session there, James, with Warren on pole position, and Recon's left the session. He has until the very start of the formation lap to rejoin, but this is literally the worst time to disconnect.
I doubt that his car's going to be on the track.
No, I don't think it is.
We'll have a look. He's joined back. I think it's in vain.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's in vain.
Yeah, it will be, because his
if it was 10 seconds later, he would have been in.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, but well, we'll have to see how it goes. You can see he's not on the standings on the right-hand side. He's not in the session, so to speak. So that's not looking great for the championship leader. However, this could be a chance for other drivers around him to try and take advantage.
Yeah, it will be. Obviously, Dill Warren has got that advantage. He's just put in a comment, actually, in the comment section. I doubt I'll be able to finish the race with my internet. Recon's car not there. He is not going to be starting this race, which is a real shame. 10 seconds later, and he would have been in, which is such a shame. But it opens up a big possibility for some of those guys in behind. They're going to get a bit of a toll now down the straight. They're not going to have... obviously, the car in second has gone. They're going to have a bit of a free run now at Dill Warren. If Recon and Carlsbury can get a good start, they could be right on top of Dill Warren coming into turn 1. It's going to be fascinating. Yeah,
Navy as well will have no one ahead of him. So that's the other thing. He's got no one to worry about ahead of him for now. So there's less cars to focus on, so he can just focus entirely on his start. So, well, we'll have to see how that goes. Meanwhile, on the tyre front here, obviously the top 10 start on the tyre. They set their fastest lap time in qualifying. So outside the top 10 then. Key in 11th place starts on the medium tyres. Everyone else outside of the top 10 starts on the hard tyre. That is Conti, Spike, Mashiro, Traw, Charlie, Jeffrey and George at the back there, all starting on the hard tyres. So a one-stop looks like it's on the cars. The Gort and Maze both starting on the soft tyres. Expect soft to hard for the race there. And for everybody else, I'm assuming it's going to be medium to hard.
Yeah, it will be. Everyone on the mediums will try and go onto a set of hards, probably around lap 13, 14, I'm going to suggest. 17 laps on the hards can make it quite easily towards the end of the race. Gort and Maze, if they stand any chance of getting a result out of this race, they have got to pit in quite early and go 2-stop. And yes, I repeat, 2 stops. Softs, mediums, I think is the best strategy for them.
Well, as we make our way now towards the grid, Dylan Warren is on pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix with no championship leader in the race. This is the perfect opportunity for Carlsbury to try and nab some points here. He could end tonight the championship leader as we head to the 4th round of the season. 33 laps though are awaiting us here at the Spanish Grand Prix, and we are moments away here at the race at the Circuit de Catalunya here in Barcelona as we now await those red lights to signal the start of the race as we ride aboard with Dylan Warren waiting for those lights. And here we go then for the Spanish Grand Prix. It is 5 red lights. Round 3 is underway, and what are the starts like? It's a good start from Dylan Warren. It's a great start from Carlsbury as well. He looks instantly to try and go down the inside. A great start too from Westy as they make their way now down towards turn 1. Can Warren hold on? Yes, he can. Carlsbury in 2nd place now. Westy looking to try and make some moves up the order. He has to go round the outside of the McLaren of Navy. That's not happening. Navy holds true there and holds firm. Meanwhile, there's a Haas and a Williams going side by side. That's Lighty and the Gort there. Navy, meanwhile, now trying to put pressure on Carlsbury up ahead. All the cars got away nice and cleanly. Great start from everybody there as it's a little bit of mayhem here as we head down towards turn 5. Key now up the inside of Maze trying to make this move stick. Maze will have the better traction out of the corner. Conti in a little bit of trouble there, has dropped back the order there as we now make our way through turn 7 and 8. As that is Charlie there in a little bit of trouble. The Gort as well has dropped down the order, down to 8th place he goes as he now tries to look and try and get past Sean down towards turn 10. No dice there, but look in the background there. That is Spike trying to make some moves there. I think there was a little bit of front wing off one of the cars. Oh, that's Spike around at turn 10. That definitely is a bit of front wing off of Conti there. I don't know whether Spike got a little bit of contact or whether he spun by himself. Didn't quite get the best camera angle in the world. However, he has got damage to that front wing, and that Toro Rosso will have to come back to the pit lane. Meanwhile, at the end of the first lap then, it is Warren in the lead, but for how much longer, I wonder, as we make our way now down towards turn 1. You can see there's a little bit of lag there on Warren's car as we make our way down towards turn 1. Hopefully that won't affect the racing too much then as they make their way through turn number 2. As we're looking at the back here, the Key getting past the Gort. Is he? Might have made a little bit of contact as we now head through turn 3. The Gort having to go the long way round, and he gets the move done. Meanwhile, Maze is looking for the same thing there. Key cuts across there, says no way, you're getting through as well, and shuts the door firmly on the Ferrari's nose and manages to stay in front. But a very hectic opening lap. Clean start initially until we got to turn 10 where Spike found himself around and Recon obviously left the session. He will go down as a DNS.
Yeah, he will. Jeffrey and Charlie just made a little bit of contact as well. Relatively clean start, though. Everyone's got away well. I think it was Conti and Spike that might have had a coming together, which caused Spike to spin and lose his front wing on that left side. Conti tried to wait up, couldn't, and Spike obviously coming into the bit of the medium. Everyone, though, looking quite good, and Dill Warren 6/7 ahead out in front from Carlsbury. Navy, though, right on the back of him. Nearly went very wide there into turn 13. Westy's on the back. Everyone spread out quite evenly, to be honest. Machine's right on the back of T-Roll, though, for 11th. This is, of course, the battle out on track.
Yeah, absolutely. As we make our way through the final corner, DRS will be online, but no one will be able to use it until that stretch towards turn 10. As we make our way still towards turn 1, Warren leads from Carlsbury in second place. Navy keeping him close company in third. Westy fourth, Lighty fifth, King J sixth, with Sean in seventh. De Gorton eighth, Keen ninth, with Mays in 10th, Troy 11th. Mashiro in 12th, George 13th. Good start from him. Charlie 14th, Conti and Jeffrey in the pit lane right now. Spike in 17th, and Recon, of course, didn't start this race. There you can see a little bit of a crowded pit lane as we head towards the fourth lap of this race. But yeah, good start from everybody. In the meantime, Warren still leads. He's now trying to build that gap up, and to be honest with you, looking at it, that kind of looked like that Carlsbury behind won't get DRS. He just about stayed within range though as we make our way down towards turn 10, but that's a warning sign there for Carlsbury. He's got to try and keep up with Warren here.
Yeah, he's got to try and keep up, but I think actually he's at the advantage here. He's just dropped out of the DRS zone now, but Dill is using up a lot of ERS in the early part of this race. He's on 19%, Carlsbury on about 30% more, on about 49% coming through the chicane there. And Carlsbury, oh, I've got a tap of oversteer, goodness me, nearly lost it through there. And Navy and Westy are right at it in behind as well for third.
Yeah, here we go then. Westy looking for the move on Navy with the DRS down towards turn 1. He'll have to go around the outside at turn 1, which he gets the move done. And Westy now up onto the podium places. Navy down to 4th. Lighty there is seeing if he wants to try and take advantage. He can't quite, not quite close enough. Still stays in 5th place. Meanwhile, Mays still trying to put pressure on Key up ahead of him. Remember, in theory, Mays has the better tyres, but they wear out very quickly here, those soft tyres around this track.
Yeah, Key actually beginning to pull away slightly as he just gets caught in the grass coming through at the exit of turn 4, coming into turn 5 and then through the left at turn 6, of course. Key just beginning to pull away slightly, I would say, on Mays, and Mays now maybe beginning to hold up a little bit of a trend behind him as T-Roll just has a bit of a moment on the curb. Mashiro's on the back, and I've got to say Mashiro's had a great start. He's gone up 2 positions, but his racecraft early on in the race, I was on board with him. It was absolutely sublime, and he could make his way forward to pick up some really good points tonight.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Troy here, not the greatest start so far, not the greatest qualifying, not the greatest race start, but as I always say, never rule out the German driver. He has the ability to pick out performances when he can and when he needs to as well. Here is Troy then on the back of Mays with some helping of DRS. Will coast past the Ferrari and up into the points the German goes. Meanwhile, Mashiro looking for an opportunity here down towards turn 1. Leaves the braking late up towards turn 1. Little bit of contact between the two of them. And Mashiro will have to back out of that one as we make our way through turn 3. In the end, it was just a little bit too much there, as Mays was not willing to give any room going into turn 2, and Mashiro kind of needed it. To me, as a little bit of 50-50, as Mays has actually been awarded a 5-second penalty for gaining a position. I'm sure he'll, appeal that one to the stewards after the race.
Yeah, he rejoined the track in a bit of an unsafe manner. Mashiro, though, going up the inside, just forced him into that perspective. Both of them coming together. I think honestly that needs to be removed. It was quite unfair, I think. It was good, hard racing. Mashiro just shouldn't have gone for the move that early on. He should have waited at least a couple more corners to try and pull off the move.
Well, the adrenaline can set in, and it has set in for Mashiro. He wants that position. He wants to get more points on the board. I can understand that. I've been there. But it's all about waiting for that right opportunity. Meanwhile, let's ride on board with let's ride on board with Sean then, who's half a second back on King J as we make our way now down towards turn 1. He's closing pretty rapidly to the back of that Haas. The straight's not quite long enough down towards turn 1.
Yeah, not close enough. He was within about 0.3 of a second before the chicane. He just lost a little bit of time out of there. Belgium beginning to struggle slightly, I think, and Sean maybe beginning to think, I can get him here. And honestly, I've got to say, 0.3 up in the personal best through the first sector, 0.3 up. He's going to be right on the back of him down the back straight through turn 9.
Well, I'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, as well, that is Lighty putting pressure on Navy ahead of him, as well as Westy up ahead of those two as well. So battles happening all over the field. Sean biding his time here behind King J as we make our way now down towards turn 10. Again, the DRS can help down towards turn 10, but only if you've got a really good run through turn 9 and you're right behind the car ahead.
Yeah, like I thought I was going to say like Mashiro there, but ran the back. Oh, he just contacts the back of Mays there. Good sportsmanship though by the Japanese driver and lets him through once again.
Yeah, he's just got to try and time these moves a little bit better. Obviously, it is his debut season here in TTL F1. He's shown he's got some pace on him. He just needs to find the right moment to make the move stick here. Maybe just a bit too eager as Mays is in, and that will no doubt be... well, actually, he'll serve his 5-second penalty, won't he, in this pit stop?
Well,
so he might not be able to appeal that at all.
Let's have a look, see if he does serve up that 5-second penalty.
And he does, yeah. So I wonder now if he'll be able to appeal that at all, because he's now served the penalty. Obviously, we'll see what happens then when that gets to the stewards' room. No doubt he'll dispute it, whatever the result today. However, Navy is still on the back of Westy, as he made that move, Westy, on the McLaren, and hasn't been able to get away. And that shows what an effect the dirty air can have at an aero-heavy track like this.
Yeah, Westy just staying quite consistent to the back of Colsbury as well. 2.4 seconds the gap. Navy beginning to close him down though. He's just got to stay within reach, I think, of him. They're just getting caught up on that curb a little bit. I thought they were going to have a bit of a half spin there, but not too much. Charlie, by the way, has gone past George for 12th position. I've just noticed that. Charlie threw on George for 12th position, but Westy could come under a bit of attack. He didn't get the cleanest run out of 14 and 15, and Navy trying to hunt him down. I don't think he is close enough.
You say that, it's pretty close, but Navy in the end decides not to in towards turn 1, but he's very close to the back of that Mercedes. There's a little bit of lag going on there, and hopefully that will clear up in a couple of seconds as we make our way towards turn 4. Sean again still trying to put the pressure on King J ahead of him. Key as well, right behind the Gort as they head towards turn 4, and George trying to keep up as well with Charlie. That battle is not done with whatsoever. Meanwhile, Jeffrey, Conti and Spike have all sort of gathered together here, and they're going to have a little bit of battle for 15th place. Spike meanwhile in the slipstream of Conti. Conti will also have some DRS on the car ahead, so Spike's sort of DRS advantage is negated, but he's still reeling him in down towards turn 1. He looked for it, thought about it, but in the end he realised the door was closing, and the experience of Spike there decided, no, that's not worth it right now. Meanwhile then, Key is right in the middle of this battle here between the Gort, Key and Traw. So the Renault here is looking to try and get up the order, try and get some more points on the board. And Sean is trying to put the Belgian of King J under that pressure. King J's pace has dropped off a little bit on these tyres. No doubt they're wearing out. And maybe the Haas is a little bit more aggressive on the tyres than maybe the other cars are. Maybe the setup has something to do with that. The Gort into the pit lane then from, I believe that was 7th or 8th place there, as he now gets onto a set of the, I don't know which tyres yet, but meanwhile Traw then up the inside of Key in towards turn 1, and as James said, it was a lovely move into the first braking zone, and now Traw gets up to 8th place.
Yeah, best move of the rest so far. Key just running very wide there at turn 3. That camber of the corner does really catch out when you get onto the marbles, and that's what Key was doing. George is up the inside of Charlie into turn 1. Charlie just about hangs on, but George is giving him something to think about here. This is quite interesting. These two have been at it pretty much since the lights dropped.
Absolutely, and it's great battling as well as we head towards turn 4, running aboard with George now in the racing point, as it doesn't get the best exit out of turn 4. Meanwhile, Conti and Spike there heading through turn 2, now towards turn 3. Spike trying to go up the inside. Conti around the outside. He might get a little bit of a compromised exit towards turn 4. He goes defensive instantly. He knows that as well. Brilliant. As Spike here is just looking for a bit of fun. All these three are looking for a bit of fun here as they make their way now down towards turn 5.
Yeah, fantastic driving there by Conti. Picked the right spot to get the move done on Spike. Spike was actually up the inside. Conti had actually got around the outside through turn 1 and 2. There was another interesting battle going up though, because Navy and Westy are going at it through turn 1 and 2. Onto lap 10 we go.
Yeah, very close between the two of them. They're very close between the two of them as they head now towards turn 4. Lots of battles happening all across the field. It's hard to keep up sometimes. However, we'll do our best. Meanwhile, the Gort is right behind George here. He's on a fresh set of the medium tyres with the DRS as Navy gets past Westy now. This time through turn, that's through turns 5 and 6 now towards turn 7. Navy up the inside at turn 7. Westy hangs it around the outside at turn 8. Into the gravel he went, and Navy... well, it was a little bit compromised going through turn 7 there. I don't know whether there was contact between the two of them or whether Navy just took avoiding action. Either way, they hold their stations here. Westy 3rd, Navy 4th, and Lighty must have been getting the popcorn out there.
Yeah, he was probably thinking to himself, well, these two starting a battle, I can possibly pick up a podium here. That's what he's probably thinking at this stage. And also, just to update, I was riding on board with Gort. He got the move done on George. Fantastic driving again by Gort, and he is lining up Charlie down into turn 9? Down the inside. Oh, fantastic move.
That's a great move there from the Gort. He took full advantage of the mistake there from Charlie, and he is now up a position.
Spike round in sector 2. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay. So he's around. That was at turn 4. So he's back up and running here.
What on earth has happened to Dill Warren?
Yeah, he's been closed in, hasn't he, by the Alfa Romeo of Carlsbury here. Maybe this could have something to do with tyre wear. Something...
ERS.
Could be... yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is ERS, yeah. Warren is having to harvest the ERS energy. Meanwhile, Carlsbury is getting the chance to deploy it. And as they make their way through 7, through 8, and then towards the right-hander of turn 9, you can see there the Alfa Romeo is not hanging about. Down they go towards turn 10. DRS wide open for the Alfa Romeo. In towards that braking zone now, and Warren here, who is we know he's got the pace here, we know that. A little bit wide through turn 12 there, but look at that, he gets the exit that he needs out of turn 12 and is able to get that apex and keep the momentum going. But having a look at his stats so far this season as Warren comes into the pits then. So Warren...
he sent the ball on flying.
Well, very late to commit to that one, but he is into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Remember, he's had 2 out of the 3 pole positions so far this season. He got pole at the first race of the season, and that's going to promote everybody up a position. So Carlsbury now gets into the lead of the race. Wesley 2nd, Navy in 3rd, Lighty in 4th place. There is King J in 5th with Sean 6th, Troy in 7th with Key trying to close in on him. Warren there is in 9th place. Mashiro is currently running in 10th. The Gort 11th, Charlie 12th, George 13th, Mace 14th, Jeffrey 15th, Conti 16th. Spike there is a ghost car because lap down cars are ghost cars. Don't understand it. And of course Recon is a DNS.
Yeah, regarding the ghosting, they did add that setting in where you can have ghosting on or off during the races for lap cars, so that is probably explaining that. But Warren, out of the pits, is in clear air. That is going to help him a hell of a lot for this for the remainder of this race, and if he wants to stay on the set of hards, I think he could get a one-stop out of that, but he's going to have to be so conservative in those tyres. And if the first half of the race is anything to go by, I don't think Warren is probably in the best position to save up those tyres, because he was attacking quite early and then saving it up at the end of his stint. It's going to be the other way around, I think, and the guys are responding. Westy, Navy, Lighty all into the pits.
Yep, King J stays out because Lighty, his teammate, is into the pits. And Carlsbury stays out as well. So let's see how these pit stops shake down then. On-go set of the hard tyres for both the drivers as away they go. Let's see where Warren is. He's now going down the start-finish straight. He'll rejoin easily ahead of them, because look at that. That is... who's that? That's Westy in the pits then.
Mashiro.
And Mashiro's got ahead of them as well. Mashiro's yet to stop in this race, of course. But look at that gap now between them. I mean, the gap was around 3 or 4 seconds. It's more than that now. So, yeah... the undercut has worked for Warren. Let's see how the positions go his way up ahead. Yet to win here, I believe, in TTL F1. He's yet to break the duck. He's come so close before. 2nd place has been his best finish twice in TTL F1, but he hasn't won one yet. Is tonight going to be the night? Will he finally break the curse, the duck, as he flies through turn 10 there? No remorse for those curves as he heads... sorry, that was through turn 9. Now through turn 10 he goes.
Cosby's in. Cosby's in. He responds. Knew it because he was saving up his ERS. He's going to have a full percentage of ERS when he comes out of the pits. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's further down the field. It's Mays, and he's in the wall. And that is a turn... Well, that's a very strange place to go off at.
Yes, that's turn 4. So I think he's lit up the rear tyres on the curb there.
Yeah.
And so he's gone...
ended up there, though.
Well, George has now left the session. Meanwhile, then, Traw gets ahead. Traw gets ahead of Key. Meanwhile, then, Warren is ahead of Carlsbury. You're absolutely right. Westy making a move on Mashiro, then down towards turn 1. That was an important move for the Mercedes driver. Needed to get that done and did. Now up to 3rd place in this race. Mashiro then looking to go long into this race on those hard tyres. Only Traw ahead of him is yet to stop. So he's running quite well right now. It'll be interesting to see what tyres he puts on. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts on a set of mediums in a couple of laps' time.
Yeah, lap 16, lap 17, I'm thinking, for a set of mediums. 16 laps can make it quite well around here. Interesting point to note out, though. Carlsbury was 4 tenths behind Dylan Warren when he came into the pits. When Warren came into the pits, Carlsbury now 2.1 seconds off. The undercut is quite potent around here. That's what we found out tonight. Here's
Navy getting past Mashiro then. Mashiro sort of led him through there, braked earlier into turn 10, and Navy was almost caught out by it, braking later, but he does get the move done. He now moves up to 7th place. So this could be smart driving here from Mashiro. He realises, look, you guys have stopped already. I haven't. I'm not racing you at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing the best strategy possible. I had a feeling he was going to come into the pits there, but he's not. Lighty is right behind him. I don't think he's going to be close enough down the straight, but it is going to be quite intriguing for Mashiro. Can he get scrap points out of this race? It's possible, but he's got to try and manage those tyres to the best possible effect. And if he can keep up with Navy, he could stand himself in a much better chance with Navy ahead of him and try and follow the tow as much as possible and try and get him into the race. So there's a car off, and is that Mays that is off at sector 1 and sector 2? It is Mays that's off.
So Mays off again then. That's at turn 4 again.
Issues, maybe?
Maybe. And Spike's now retired from the session entirely. So I wonder if that's also at sector 2, because there's only yellow flags there at the moment. Mays has got a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And well, he meets the wall there at the slowest possible angle, at the shallowest possible angle, and he's binned the car. Yeah, I think that 10-second penalty swung it to not be in the race anymore. Very, very harsh. The in-game stewards have been for Mays, and he'll feel quite hard done by as well by those penalties. Meanwhile, though, Lighty has closed up to the back of Mashiro into the final chicane. Mashiro, of course, yet to stop. Lighty getting a little bit of a tank slapper on there as we now make our way on towards the start-finish straight. Lighty there will use that. He wanted to try and get into the slipstream of Mashiro. Mashiro just moves out of the way, and I believe Dylan Warren has taken the lead off of Traw. I'm not going to assume that Traw put up a fight.
No, he didn't. Dylan Warren just absolutely flew past him. That's all I'm going to say on that. And he is actually beginning to eke out a bit of a margin as well on Carlsbury. That gap, the last time I reported on it, was 2.1 seconds. The gap now, 2.9 seconds. Warren is flying, but that ERS needs to be saved up. I think he could... honestly, I think if I was in his position now, I would save up that ERS for a lap, put it in at 0, then use it up. Have 1 lap on, 1 lap off. That's what I would be doing at this point.
Well, let's see if that strategy is on the agenda for him. But he is leading here. He's got Traw behind him. Now Carlsbury will have to try and get past the German there. Meanwhile, Conti is now past George there. I believe George... he's left the session, that's why. That'll be why. That'll be why that move looked really easy. That's why he went through him. That would explain a lot. Key, meanwhile, right on the back of the gaunt then. This is for the final points of the race as we make our way now through that extended chicane. Warren there setting the fastest lap of the race at 120.7 currently at the moment, wanting to get the hat-trick here.
Oh, Lighty!
And Lighty is around at the final corner. Now,
Well,
I was going to say, Mashiro wasn't really anywhere near him. And Lighty's dropped it on his own, yeah. So now he's lost the position to his teammate, and he'll now have to just recover, get the head down, and just do it all over again. Recover that composure.
Yeah, he's got to recover that composure. It is hard to stay composed when you've just had a bit of a moment like that. I think, honestly, if I was in Lighty's position, he's just got to stick it to King J in front of him. The Hatters, I think, are not going to be working together. They're going to be hell for leather, I think, these two, at the end of the race. And that now leads Sean possibly into contention as well. And Kiki and Gort, you never know if these can catch up. Could have a 5-way battle for 7th going on. But Mashiro's still yet to pit and T-Wall's still yet to pit as well.
Yeah, these two could be battling the cars up ahead, but at the moment they might look like to battle each other for this, what as it stands right now, the final point of the race. Obviously, Mashiro and Troy ahead of them yet to stop. I don't think Troy's going to be in too much trouble of the Gort and Key, but Mashiro definitely is. So he's going to have to watch out for that in his pit stops and just adapt his driving until then.
Interesting, again, just to go on this net battle for the lead at the minute. T-Wall obviously still yet to come into the pits. That gap is extending out considerably. Dill Warren is at a big advantage here. We're halfway through, and Dill leads. T-Wall second, Carsby third. Westy, Navy fourth and fifth. Mashiro, King J, Lighty, Sean, Gort from that the top 10. And then Kiki, who's right on the back of him actually. Is he going to get the move done down into turn 1? He's going to have to go around the outside here, Kiki. Has he got the move done? Gort doesn't give him any room. I think it was going to be Kiki's move anyway. There's a little bit of contact made. Good driving though. Kiki, I think, would have got that move done. Gort maybe giving the camera the corner. Just caught out slightly with that.
Well, that puts Key up into the points, then into 10th place he goes. Meanwhile, Carsbury wants to try and get this move done. The longer he stays behind Traw, the more time he's losing. 4.1 now, the gap between Warren and Carsbury as we make our way towards turn 12. Traw here, it's a question of obviously when he pits, not if, and that's going to be closer and closer. I think this time, this could be the lap. Traw comes into the pits. No, he stays out another lap. So not interested in the move there. Meanwhile, the Haas's are going side by side through turn 12. Onwards towards turn 13 then. You weren't kidding when you said they were going to battle here. Lighty trying to make this move on King J in towards the chicane. Ooh. King J will just have the advantage going into the chicane there. A little bit of desync between the two of them through the final corner. But they are very close to each other. Here goes Lighty then with the DRS down towards turn 1. There you go. Lighty should have this move done down towards turn 1. Will he have it? Yes, he does. But meanwhile, watch out for Sean there, who's going to try and sneak it up the inside. But nothing doing there for Sean. And the two Haas's there battling like it's the final race of the season. And it's, the decider between the two of them. But they kept it as clean as possible. And Lighty took that position away.
Honestly, didn't expect where that... I didn't even see where that came from, to be honest. Sean actually tried to go up the inside, but onto King J, down into turn 1 as well. Really making it down the inside. Didn't quite do it. He could get it down the back straight. He's close enough, I think. King J just putting out a little bit of time. But really good racing between the two Hatters. That's what you like to see. Teammates not working for each other. They're working for themselves. That's what I like to see. And that right there is league racing.
Well, we'll have to see how this race keeps developing. Spike leaving the session after retiring. He did crash at turn 6. Meanwhile, the German in the Renault, Traw, has come into the pit lane at long last to put on a fresh set of tyres. Looks like mediums are ready then for the car. It looks like Mashiro won't be...
Sorry to put in. Lighty's just had a massive moment out of turn 6, out of turn 15 again. Lost the rear end, and Sean now alongside. King J has just gone past him saying thank you very much for that. And Sean is now ahead of Lighty. He's lost 2 positions. Just needs to control that back end a bit more. And T-Wall's just out behind them.
Yeah, Traw now will be looking to try and close in on all 3 of these to try and take away 5th place. He's got the pace there to do so as we now make our way in towards turn 4. But Lighty now once again loses the back end towards the final part of the lap. I wonder if it's tyre temperatures that Lighty is struggling with here, because throughout the first part it looks alright. Then it gets to the final sector and it just looks like the rear tyres are overheating. whatever the reason is, it's just not working right now. He's got to try and adapt his driving style because it's lost him time, and Traw is slowly reeling him in. Now, we know how much these two get on so well with each other off track, Lighty and Traw. They've been teammates for the past 2 seasons. They even went through a driver transfer together. This time, though, they're on separate teams. They're rivals for this time around, and Traw, on the medium tyres, will have to get past his friend Lighty.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. If they know each other off track, it's certainly not going to be pretty on track. That's all I'm going to say on that. And again, Lighty just losing that back end through turn 16. It could allow T-Roll close enough for a run down into turn 1. I think everyone is going to stay in the same positions because T-Roll not making any inroads, and in fact not using any ERS up the straight either. So it's going to stay in behind them. But T-Roll, if I was him, I'd be wanting to get past these guys as soon as possible and then focus tensions on a possible 5th position with King J, who is struggling and is just in front of these guys. So I think T-Roll can get 5th nailed on.
He could do.
Oh, God! Right at the inside of Kiki, just in behind all of this as well. Side by side down into turn 5. Gordon Kiki. Kiki up the inside. Has he got the move done? The Toro Rosso, I think, is just going to come out on this. And he has done. Kiki on a much fresher, fresher set of tyres, on the set of hards, and T-Roll is battling with Lighty. It's all kicking off.
It absolutely is. Running on board with Traw then as he tries to go around the outside at turn 10. Not going to work. Not really the line he wanted to take there. He really wanted the inside. Meanwhile, the Gort then still going side by side with Key as they make their way through 11 onwards towards turn 12. The Williams on the inside, but Key, look at him go around the outside. Superior grip on those hard tyres, and he gets the move done. Up to 9th he goes, but the Williams of the Gort here will not take that lying down. He's got a DRS straight ahead of him. Meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on 5th to 8th at the moment because they've all got DRS on each other. Making our way down towards turn 1. Traw looking for a move, not in the end. There wasn't one available. Meanwhile, the Gort again closing in on Key down towards turn 1, right on his gearbox through turn 2, and then onwards towards the flying right-hander of turn 3. So much confidence from Kiki in those tyres. The Gort just couldn't quite have the same amount of grip, and that could really favour Key towards the final part of this race. 12 laps to go, 11 and a bit if you're picky. Dylan Warren still leads by 4.3 seconds ahead of Carlsbury. He's only got a third of the race to go to try and grab his first win in TTL F1.
I am honestly praying that that connection holds up for him. He's 4.4 seconds ahead. He's dominated the race to this point. Carlsbury's not really making any inroads either. He sets the new fastest lap of the race as well. That is he's filling himself up with so much confidence here. And Dill Warren is the one to beat for sure coming into the last 10 laps or so. Carlsbury and Westy. Westy actually getting closer to Carlsbury, so this is going to kick off probably in the next 2-3 laps or so, because Westy's getting closer to Carlsbury. This is going to be quite intriguing, and Sean is trying to get on the back of King J as well. Everyone, I think, is still going to stay in the same positions running down the straight. Nobody close enough.
Yeah, the problem that they'll have now is it forms a little bit of a DRS train. They've all got really DRS off each other. They all know that the DRS is important around here. They all know they have to stay within a second, so no one really wants to try and make that move. No one wants to try and, use that ERS until the last possible moment when they know they can take advantage. So it's a little bit of biding their time here and waiting for the right moment. And sometimes they wait so long that the moment's long gone.
Yeah, just going to have a look at penalties, because Navy's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Dill Warren has got 2 warnings, no penalties. Carlsbury has got a penalty, so he's got an extra 3 seconds really there, Warren. Westy's got 2 warnings. Navy has got a penalty, or 2 penalties in fact. And Sean is just trying to have a go at King J there, down into the braking zone at turn 10. Not close enough, but that back up a bit, really getting going. I'll update the rest of the penalties in just a second.
Well, you can see here they're still very close to each other here. King J leading this one. Oh, Traw then runs into the back of Lighty. Now, does he have damage to the front wing of that car? I don't think he does. He'll be able to carry on then, but a little bit of a scare from the Renault then, and that really has cost him a little bit of momentum as they head now down towards turn 1. Saying that, the Renault's still trying to close in on the Haas. Not quite close enough yet, but Sean still trying to put that pressure on King J ahead of him. The Gort has come back into the pits.
Timo has got left side. He's got left side end plate damage. Sorry to pick up on that. I thought he didn't have damage. He does. Left side end plate completely gone on that Renault. And look how wide he's going through the apexes. He's got to come into the pits, go for the fastest lap of the race, because I think he'll come out in 10th place.
Well, it's going to be close, that's for sure. The Gort's currently in the pit lane, so yes, he should be able to join back out in the top 10, so he'll be able to try and grab an extra point. Meanwhile, Westy has also managed to reel in Carlsbury lap after lap. He's currently 4 tenths behind second place here, and Westy wants second place. He wants to win whenever he goes out onto track. He's here to win. But second place for now will be absolutely fine. He's reeling Carlsbury in as we head now down towards turn 1. Here he goes then down the right-hand side towards turn 1 and takes the racing line in the braking zone. Westy then moves up to second place. Carlsbury down to third. And let's rejoin then this battle between King J, Sean, Lighty and Troy. Troy's trying to desperately hang on to the back of this train with that front wing damage. Down the straight, he'll have that advantage then with the DRS, but you can see now he's just starting to fall away with that front wing damage. He'll be absolutely kicking himself on that one.
He should have pitted that lap. He should have honestly pitted that lap. He's going to be losing so much time now through the corners, especially through the first and second sectors. They're going to be quite punishing, especially through the right-handed corners. Team will now begin to lose time. He's just fallen out of the DRS there as I say that. So this is really, really costly for the German. And I tell you what, Sean is right on the back of King J, trying to find a way through. But King J is essentially parking the bus like Sunderland's defence at the minute.
Yeah, the widest Haas in Spain, that's for sure, as we head around turn 9. Sean right on the back of the Belgian here, but again King J just gets a really good run through turn 9 and he's able to use that to defend through turn 10. Sean looking for a move around the outside, nothing doing from the Alfa Romeo right now. Westy with the fastest lap of the race. Sean gives a little bit of a tap to King J there as he now heads down towards turn 13. Up the inside he goes. Not going to give the Haas a lot of room here. The Haas goes over the curb and spins around. And Sean there was very aggressive with that move. King J just gets back on with it as he now rejoins. He'll have lost a lot of time where he spun there. But Lighty, meanwhile, looks on the inside of Sean then as we make our way up towards turn 1. And Lighty then moves down the inside. Sean here will try a little bit of a cutback, but Lighty picks up a penalty for his troubles as they both get onto the grass there. That's not ideal. The car really does want to snap on you when you do something like that. However, Lighty takes over from where King J was and now is up to 5th place.
Yes, just looking back on that Sean and King J incident, I definitely think that's going to be going towards the steward. Sean just cut him up, I think, up the inside of turn 14. Didn't leave him enough space to try and complete the move. Of course, you need to leave that car's width in between. He didn't, and I think that's going to be steward, and I have a feeling that'll be a penalty for him.
Well, let's see what the stewards will make of that at the end of this race. Lighty then looking to just try and run away with 5th place right now. He's 16.4 behind Navy. Remember, Navy has about 6 seconds worth of penalties, so really he's in no man's land at the moment. Looking to just try and get this car to the end now as cleanly as possible. That's the Red Bull there of Conti, who's not had a great day. 14th for him at the moment, but fair play to him. He's still there, waiting for a late safety car maybe, which will bring him back into this race. But let's talk about the race leader right now, James. It's always an encouraging sign when you're leading the race and you hardly ever get spoken about. You must be doing something right.
He's definitely doing something right, and 4.6 seconds the gap. However, last 2 laps around, Westy has closed that gap. It was 5.1, it's now 4.5 seconds. Last time around he found 7 tenths on Dill Warren. He is going to be, I think, if he continues up this pace, Weston, he finds time in this final sector, close it down to about 4 seconds at the end of this lap, he might be right on top of him come to the end of the race. Dill, I think, has gone a little bit too early. And you can see Westy trying to maximise the run through the final sector, and he's beginning to close that gap. Don't take it for don't take it as it is really with Westy. He's 4.3 seconds off. He could be, if he continues up this pace, right on the back of Dylan Warren come the final lap. I have no question about that.
Well, from the pace-wise, you could be right there, James, as we start lap 28 of 33 here in the Spanish Grand Prix. It is Dylan Warren looking for his first win in TTL F1. Westy is in second place with Carlsbury in third. Navy running in fourth place with Lighty in fifth. Sean sixth with Traw limping home to seventh place with that front wing damage. King J is in eighth place. Look at Key. He's now trying to close in on the Belgium. That'll be a battle for eighth place between the two of them. Mashiro here is running in the last point scoring position. The Gore is in 11th, Charlie in 12th, Jeffrey 13th, Conti 14th, George, who will be recorded as a DNF there, running around in 15th place. Spike and Mays DNFs, and Recon a DNS.
Carlsbury just picking up a 3-second time penalty, and again Westy through the first and second sectors. He's not getting the run out the corners at all, and Westy is losing time on this lap to Dill Warren. Has Dill gone for it out in front with the EOS? Yes, he has. And is he going to set fastest lap the race? He's 20.2. He improved on that lap. That was essentially like a qualifying lap in the race for him there.
A qualifying lap in the race. Oh, I like that. Jack John, I reckon.
He's won the pace. Kiki right on the back of King J. This is going to be quite interesting for him.
Yeah, I think King J struggled with tyres this whole race. I mean, he had good pace in qualifying, but maybe with the qualifying setup, you know, the tyre temperatures and keeping them under a certain threshold went out of the window. Kiki, meanwhile, getting a little bit haywire out of turn 15, and that's not good for him because that would have cost the run he would have wanted and would have loved to have down towards turn 1. Unfortunately, though, he'll have to stay behind for yet another lap. I believe we have 5 laps to go, 4 and a bit if you're picky, with Dylan Warren leading the way, 4.4 seconds between himself and Westy at the moment. It's comfortable for now, but anything can happen in these last 5 laps.
Yeah, Westy again just beginning to close the gap. He's using up his EOS this lap, which you'll appreciate, which is why the gap is closing down. And with 4 laps to go, it's Dill's to lose, but... and it's a big but, I still have a nagging doubt that something is going to happen to Dill. Whether it be connection, whether we lose it somewhere out on track, and Westy could be there to pick up the piece. And I mean, look at down the straight. 4.1 seconds down the straight, nearly 4 seconds, 4 laps to go. Essentially, you've got to think of it a second a lap for him to be right there.
And that's
impossible. You never know.
And that's just catching him as well. Then there's the fact of overtaking Warren. So, you know, as the laps go by, it just gets more and more difficult for Westy. Currently 3.7 is the gap right now. Meanwhile, riding on board with Key, as he looks to try and close in on King J, gets a little bit of a better exit this time around out of the final corner. But again, he's just not quite close enough to King J to take full advantage of the DRS, then heading down towards turn 1. And that's going to be frustrating. You've got the car ahead of you. You know you're just about slightly quicker than, but that's probably the most difficult person to get past on the racetrack.
Yeah, King J doing well, defensively driving brilliantly, I've got to say. Kiki not really trying to lunge himself into the move. Sean as well on the back of Lighty has suddenly came alight, 6 tenths of a second from 5th and 6th. He tried to get the move done down into turn 1. Lighty shut the door on him, pretty much like parking the bus. And he's still in 5th, but Sean, I think, could swap those positions towards the end of the race. And Kiki still on the back of King J, as you say.
Still putting that pressure on with only 3 laps to go now. Kiki looking down towards turn 10, and Carlsbury here has really closed up once again to the back of Westy, heading down towards turn 1, and a bit of a late showing here once again from Carlsbury as he makes his way through turn 3, looking to try and get the best line possible through there. You can see Westy going defensive in towards turn 4, trying to break that slipstream into the braking zone there. A long right-hander of turn 4 seems like it goes on forever as we then head down to the braking zone at turn 5. And again, it's all about the exit here as you make your way now down the hill through 6 to the braking zone of 7, and then you're having to go through turn 8 as well. Very easy to unsettle the car through there, very easy to overcommit. Through turn 9 we go. This is where the dirty air might take hold of the car, as the DRS wide open for Carlsbury. Might not get a move down towards turn 10, but he is close right up to the back of Westy here as we head now up the hill through turn 11, then through turn 12, and then we're going to go onwards through 13, through the chicane of 14 and 15, then through the final corner at 16. That's where it matters. Compromise the entry into 14, focus on the exit of 15, and then you've got a good chance of getting past them through 16. Warren sets the fastest lap of the race at 120.1. Carlsbury here looks like he could be close enough to take advantage. Westy here is giving him the slipstream. He's got the DRS, but no, he's backed out of it. He's turned the ERS down. Not time yet. I think he's waiting to. He's leaving this as late as possible, but he's seen there an opportunity to try and get past Westy. He'll cut back here, trying to go up the inside at turn 3. Not quite there, as he has to stay behind, but he really did think about that one. Almost paid off.
He should have upped his ERS at that point when he was coming on the exit of turn 3, because he would have got the move done. Westy is hanging on by a thread here. There is a little bit of traffic ahead, just ahead of these guys as well. But Westy is under sustained pressure from Carlsbury. And Carlsbury with 67% ERS, Westy with 16%, 50% ERS difference. You can probably tell which way this is going to go.
Well, the pendulum will swing towards Carlsbury's way, but you know, momentum is only half the story. You've got to get past the car ahead to get the position. It's as simple as that. As you see there, that is the ghost car, I believe, was George there, getting out of the way. Meanwhile, then, Carlsbury still right on the gearbox of Westy. Warren will cross the start-finish line to start the final lap of the race now. So, final lap of the race has begun. Carlsbury, again, not quite getting the best exit that he wanted, but he is closing now. Westy looking for a defensive move. Carlsbury moves to the right-hand side. Down the inside it goes into turn 1, and Carlsbury gets the position, moves up to 2nd place. Westy now down to 3rd. In the final lap of the race, worked so hard to keep a hold of 2nd place, and it might have gone out the window. Not done yet, of course. We've still got more than 3 kilometres to go. There's still a chance for Westy to try and take back that position, but the gap's now 0.7 of a second. I think Westy's tyres are done. I've got to be honest with you, that car looked pretty much linked up to the straights rather than the corners. That will have an effect on tyre wear, because the tyres are having to work harder to produce the same amount of grip. That could be the nail there that Westy did not want to have. Carlsbury up to 2nd place, but meanwhile this could be the moment Warren's been waiting for. Through turn 12, it's taken quite some time, albeit maybe longer than he might have liked. 2 2nd places in that time, but Warren has to negotiate 3 more corners now to take his first ever win in TTL F1. Dylan Warren heads towards the line and wins the Spanish Grand Prix and takes his first ever victory in TTL F1. Westy beats out Carlsbury on penalties, so Westy up to 2nd, Carlsbury in 3rd place. Navy towards the line, he will come across the line in 4th place there. Let's have a look at King J and Key, because they're still battling as we head towards the line. Lighty should finish ahead of Sean, but penalties might come into play between the two of them. Key, meanwhile, still putting the pressure on King J through the final chicane, through the final corner then, and I think the Haas of King J is just about going to hold on as we head towards the start finish line, and he will. King J then goes up to 6th actually thanks to penalties. Kiki up to 8th, Mashiro 9th, and that's dropped Traw all the way down to 10th place with the Gort, the last finisher we're waiting for now in 11th place. Won't quite grab the fastest lap of the race here, but Traw then finishing in 10th place with that front wing damage as well. But your race winner here, his first ever victory in TTL F1, Dylan Warren wins in Spain. And that will be a moment to treasure for Dylan Warren. It's finally all come together. He had the dominant pace today, and I believe he got the fastest lap too. A great, well-earned 25 points for Dylan Warren.
Yeah, fantastic win for Dill. He is absolutely over the moon in the comment section. I'm just having a look on the stream. Get in, let's go, finally, is his comment within the comment section. And too right as well. Fantastic win for Dill. Well deserved. And the inconsistency of his connection did improve to stop him tonight.
Well, here are your official, unofficial results for the Spanish Grand Prix here in TTL F1. Dylan Warren takes his first ever victory in TTL F1. Westy in second with Carlsbury rounding up the top three. Navy in fourth with Sean fifth. King J in sixth. Lighty in seventh with Key in eighth. Mashiro in ninth, and Traw rounds out the top 10. It's the Gort in 11th, Charlie 12th, Jeffrey 13th, Conti 14th, George in 15th with Spike Mays retiring from the race, and the championship leader Recon not taking the race start due to connection issues. Well, have to say, James, that was a great race we had on our hands. We've had our first ever TTL F1 race winner, and a good race to boot.
Yeah, fantastic race. Spain never fails to deliver on a good race. Every single time I've commented on this track, every single time I've got a brilliant race. And Dill fully deserves that win. Took the race by the scruff of the neck early on, set about, aggressive from the front, pretty much like Mark Cavendish around the velodrome, going out in front and trying to hold the peloton off. He's done it.
You know, they say to prepare for everything in commentary, but I could never have prepared for that, James. Well, obviously, the next round we'll go to is the Canadian Grand Prix, and I have to say, James, it is my favourite track on the calendar. I love Canada. It's one of my favourite tracks, so I'm really looking forward to it. But a huge congratulations to Dylan Warren on picking up his first race win. You know, back in Austria 2 seasons ago, when Andy and I first saw him, we saw the pace that he had. We said to each other, well, he's going to get a race win eventually. Finally, a well overdue race victory for Dylan Warren. Fully deserved, as you say, James.
Yeah, it's going to fill him up with a lot of confidence going into Canada, and I think Canada hopefully is going to be one of his stronger tracks as well. Similar type in profile really to Spain with fast flowing corners. It's really going to come about, and hopefully he can maintain that consistency. Hopefully he can maintain that consistency first in his connection rather than his performances out on track. But really good race that, and a lot of consistent results. Really good driving from a majority of them. Obviously, there might be a few incidents for the stewards. Those are the official, unofficial results, as you like to say. But Canada next week, surely it can't get any better than Spain. I think do you know what, James? I think it will. But you'll have to wait and see, and tune in next week when we take the trip across the pond to the Canadian Grand Prix. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure as well that you follow the league on Twitter at TTL_F1. You can follow me on Twitter if you're there, KS McGinley, and you can also follow James on Twitter as well. It's at B52Head. Well, James, it's been great to be back. Great to be back with you. I can't wait for next week. I can't wait for next week either. And of course, just a reminder, tomorrow we do have the newly reformed TTSL. Monk and myself will be taking you through that one from 7:30. It's essentially League 2 drivers into League 1. That's the only change you're going to see. Conti will be there as well.
And make sure you tune in to that as well. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.